Okay, guys, we have the conclusion of the aftermath of the clutch failure on the TDI truck. I was going to wait to do a review on this plate and adapter and everything until I got the dust settled with the manufacturer. And we're going to start with the problem, which most of you already know was the clutch failed. Pretty successfully, actually. Yeah, so we got spring failure. This clutch has less than 1,000 miles. That's less than 1,000 miles. So, what first inclination is this wear pattern. The grooves cut into the retention spring teeth. You can see they're obviously to the point where they're actually almost gone. So, wasn't engaging. Felt like a slave cylinder was bad, but I knew better because I had brand new clutch master and slave, and the slave was functioning fully in form with the pedal. So that was pulling the tranny out, take a look at the clutch because I thought the clutch had failed. It was partially correct, but we'll get into that more. So obviously without those in the right tension, it's not going to allow for any kind of movement or shifting because there's just no metal there, so it's like pushing on nothing. You see this kind of pattern on like a 50,000 mile clutch or a 40,000 mile clutch if somebody leaves their foot on the pedal. Again, this is less than 1,000 miles, so this is completely an issue with the adapter. You can see how it's got different ridge points. These ones are far over into the tooth more, so what was happening was it wasn't seating properly because he doesn't use dowel pins. We'll go into that more later. But anyway, that was causing that issue, so it was causing it to rub and wear where it wasn't supposed to. And then, yeah, the springs obviously took the brunt of that. This is vertical force springs and everything, because if it's not functioning correctly, you're going to get that. So that's a $260 clutch gone. This is the flywheel you get with the Acme adapter, and it's basically a stock OEM Toyota that he drills in the bolt pattern for the TDI, crankshaft. So going to that, this spacer that he's got here, this comes with his kit, but there is one on the actual original Volkswagen engine that has this exact bolt pattern on it. So if you wanted to build your own, it is very specific. I got to rotate it here till it matches. And it's got one that's closer to the other, and of course I probably got to flip it over. Oh, that was right. Anyway, the one on the Volkswagen side you could center out with the right machining if you're looking to do your own plate and have it centered. I swear at some point this lines up, but there it is. There we go. So yeah, it's got an odd pattern to it, but there's one of these little shims. It's probably 60 thousandths or so. This one's pretty thick. This is the external flange. But when you tear apart a Volkswagen, it'll have a 60,000 shim that's got that bolt pattern, so you got a template to follow. So I don't see any damage to this. It looks heat stressed, which is normal for a failing procedure, but nothing, no grooves, no tongues, no anything. So this is still usable. Not going to have a problem there. I just ruined my carpet with the diesel. Awesome. It just keeps getting better and better every day. On to the adapters. Okay, this is the original adapter, purchased 2 years ago. We're going to take a look at it here, see if I can clean the numbers off. Okay, this is Acme 624. Made in USA. Acme 380T. Acme's number on there. All their information. Here we go. This is the new plate that was sent to me when I commented on to Jeff at Acme, and he's good enough to send a new plate at no cost to me with the revisions. So we're going to see how those hold up. This original plate of his, he's made revisions on it. It's no longer what he uses, but that was a big engineering fail. So that's where a lot of the stigma comes with the Acme. It's a good plate for what it does, but it is, in my opinion, with having the machining and availability, it's overpriced. He spent more on the zinc coating than it's worth. Nobody cares about that. A coat of, black spray paint would do about the same thing, and especially in that area of the vehicle. Once you put it in, you're not going to be pulling it off back and forth, so the zinc coating really does you no good. So then, and that's an expensive process to have done too. So anyway, the new plate here, Acme 624, made in USA, 380T. I see no numerical numbering difference of these. Like, it's not a better version, it's not listed as a better version, whatnot. It just is because I know the difference. So the original one, you can see these bolts are diametered. They're just what they are. These ones have a small shoulder, and that small shoulder is now the guide pins. So I'm going to take this one over to the transmission, and I'll show you exactly my biggest concern with the Acme adapter from the get-go. This is a W56 Toyota transmission. You can see right here is where the original transmission dowel pin was. And there's also one up here. Now, Acme says to cut those and grind those off because their plate does everything. So when I originally did this, I did. If I'd have known better, I wouldn't have done that. Sorry, going the wrong direction here. There we go. So without those dowel pins, you can see these bolts, put one in two side, slide right in. And that's it. That's all that it's made. The open space down here doesn't matter. It's a heavy duty enough, and the bell housing strong enough to handle it. It's not going to be a problem. The problem comes into where your center to center is. So without those dowel pins, you can see I'm holding it firm, but there's a lot of play in that, which means that vibrations, torque, power, everything is knocking it off of center, causing a whole bunch of alignment issues. So that was an engineering fail from the get-go without using the dowel pins. A lot of other companies keep the dowel pins on both the transmission and on the side from the Volkswagen. So here we have the new updated plate. This has got these raised hip bolts, I think they're called. I don't remember what they're called, honestly. It's been a while. So with those in there, I'm doing the same pressure. Almost no movement. I mean, almost no. So it looks like he's solved this issue. And because he's got them on the other side also, that's going to make the engine mate on the same side. So as long as he did his correct math and centered on both sides with where he's got the run out and everything, this should fix the problem and be no issue in the future. So it's kind of annoying that somebody's engineering fail took out a $200 clutch and it possibly destroyed my transmission, but it looks like a pretty old transmission, so I'm not blaming that one. I got to take concern saying it was pretty old, so whatever. Life goes on. But so Jeff did send me the right one, and it fits and feels right. These dowel pins are definitely going to be better because it does center it on what it needs. Yeah, I've just waiting on the rest of the parts now. I got to get this shit back to Jeff. He wants it because obviously all he's got to do is extract the bolts and he can put the new ones in. Then this can be either sold as used or, refabbed and new or whatever. I don't care. I don't have any use for it. Does me no good without those shouldered bolts, which I probably could make, but don't really want to dink around with it. I'd rather enjoy my ride. So new clutch coming in. I've got an R151F bell housing coming in, and I'm going to take the transmission out of that, which is the original frame from this truck, which has the V6, the R150 in it. And I'm going to try and get both of those to match up. If that doesn't, I have a spare W56 with top shift lined up, ready to go. Got to rebuild this unit eventually. I have 2 spares of those yet, and that's it. So anyway, guys, that's where we're at, and I will be updating as soon as I get this finished up.